The views expressed in this video are solely those of the host and the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization or entity that may be affiliated with. We encourage the viewer to conduct their own research.
Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of The Pack Breakers, a show dedicated to tobacco harm reduction and the people of tobacco harm reduction. A conversation inspired this episode with a person who smokes and really needs to quit, but was terribly misinformed. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Nicotonophobia, a term borrowed from Dr. Singer from the Cato Institute. Because somewhere along the line, nicotine became the bad guy of the tobacco story. And today, we're putting that myth on trial. Now I'm talking to the person who smokes and not promoting nicotine to the naive, especially the youth. First things first, nicotine does not cause cancer. How do I know? Because the World Health Organization's International Agency for the Research on Cancer, the US National Cancer Institute, Cancer Research UK, and the US National Academies of Sciences, Engineering and Medicine told me so. Let me say that again for the auntie at the bar who's already side-eyeing your vape. Nicotine does not cause cancer, or respiratory disease for that matter. It's not the villain. It's more like the caffeine of the cigarette world. The thing that keeps you coming back, not the thing that sends you to the oncologist. The real culprits? The tar, the carbon monoxide, and the thousands of toxic chemicals that come from burning tobacco. That's where the damage happens, in the smoke, not the nicotine. So when someone says, "Aish, that vape has even more nicotine than a cigarette," it must be worse. Please take a breath and remind them it's not the nicotine that kills, it's the smoke. So let's talk numbers, because in South Africa we love a good stat almost as much as we love our sports. A regular cigarette delivers 1.2 milligrams of nicotine per stick. So a pack of 20s gives you around 20 milligrams of absorbed nicotine. This is the first pack of cigarettes I have bought in over 11 years. Purely for demonstration purposes. No dual use here. Cis. Now, on average, a vape pod with 50 milligrams or 5% of nicotine salts contains around 100 milligrams of total nicotine. But your body only absorbs maybe half of that, so 50 milligrams. That's like 2.5 packs of cigarettes, but spread over hundreds of gentle puffs, not burning 20 sticks at once. But the vape pod can contain far lower levels of nicotine. My preferred strength is 2 milligrams. Yes, 2 milligrams in a pod. I've worked my way down the nicotine ladder. This innovation, which allows the person to reduce their nicotine strength all the way down to nil, zero, nothing, is unique in the smoking cessation world. Now, if you think that's hectic, check this out. A pack of 105 nicotine gums at 4 milligrams each equal about 11 packs of cigarettes worth of nicotine. But nobody's calling Nicorette the gateway drug. In fact, this product does not contain a nicotine warning on the box, as seen in other products, and is approved as a Schedule 0 by the South African Health Product Regulatory Authority and is considered as an essential medicine by the World Health Organization. Let that sink in. Making it available without a script, available off-shelf for purchase from anywhere, although it's not. A big shame. Still think nicotine is the bad guy and as harmful as it's made out to be? Now, yeah, this is where it gets serious. The tobacco control community. Yes, I'm looking at you, Department of Health, WHO consultants, and those comfy NGOs. You need to stop scaring people with nicotine nonsense. For decades, smokers have been told that nicotine itself is the reason their habit is deadly. That's blaming caffeine for burning your tongue on a hot cup of joe, or a car accident because you spilt the coffee on your lap. Public health has a duty, not just to shout, quit or die, but to tell the truth about harm reduction. If nicotine by itself isn't the danger, then people deserve to know that safer products exist. Vapes, nicotine pouches, and gums that can help them switch away from the smoke that kills. And yet, so many smokers still believe that the stronger the nicotine, the deadlier the product. That's not science. That's superstition. You see, nicotine's like a dog that gets blamed for eating the homework. The adults in the room don't believe you anymore. It's not cute when it prevents a person who smokes from making a life-saving choice to switch to a safer alternative. Yes, nicotine is addictive. It keeps you hooked. But it's also the reason why safer alternatives work. Spreading misinformation about nicotine options won't help people quit smoking. In fact, it will keep them smoking. In effect, it promotes cigarette and tobacco use. A stupid public health strategy. So instead of demonizing nicotine, we should be managing it responsibly, like we do with caffeine, alcohol, or even sugar. Educate, regulate, innovate, never exaggerate. So here's a message to every South African smoker listening. You're not addicted to the cancer. You're dependent on the nicotine, and that's okay. If you want to quit smoking but not nicotine entirely, that's still progress. Switching to a vape or a nicotine pouch can dramatically reduce your risk. And to our public health leaders, maybe it's time to move the conversation back from nicotine is evil to smoke is the enemy. And for the love of all things holy, stop with this harm is harm nonsense. We owe South Africans honesty, not fear, especially when fear keeps people lighting up instead of switching down. That's it for today's episode of The Pack Breakers. If you have learned something new, share this episode with your friends, and maybe even with that auntie that still thinks your vape contains plutonium. Until next time, stay informed, stay smoke-free, and remember, it's not the nicotine that kills, it's the smoke. Cheers.